Oh yes, this is my day. This is your day. Our day to face our challenges knowing that we have the resources on hand to succeed. And guess what? The government is helping to equip us with those resources. I will share with you how they have been accomplishing this in strategic priority number 2, economic growth and job creation and Vision 2030 Jamaica. Good day. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. Later in the show, we spend time with small friends that are important to a big business in the buzz of honey in Spanish Town. So, please stay tuned. More to come right after the news.
It's my life, and I'm responsible for every action. It's all mine, my day, my time, my life.
Government health centers and hospitals have an adequate supply of paracetamols like Panadol and Cetamol to treat the chikungunya virus. Paracetamol in the public health sector is free of cost. For more on chikungunya and the medication, call the Ministry of Health toll-free at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683. Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Wednesday, November 12. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller has moved to clarify the National Housing Trust, NHT's acquisition of 10 acres of land at Orange Grove in Trelawney. The property was occupied by the Outer Many Experience attraction and the parliamentary opposition had questioned whether the purchase was in line with the NHT's mandate. In response to those questions in Garden House Tuesday, Mrs. Simpson-Miller explained that while the trust had bought the 10 acres of land, it did not buy the Outer Many business. She further explained that having invested in the land, the NHT board was now exploring the educational, cultural and tourism potential of the property.
I have instructed that they should explore ways of using the property for social and physical infrastructure to enhance the quality of life and for the enjoyment of NHT contributors, Jamaicans, and visitors.
In the interest of transparency, the Prime Minister also revealed that the Auditor General will be carrying out further investigations into the purchase of the Orange Grove property. In the meantime, Mrs. Simpson-Miller, who has portfolio responsibility for the Housing Trust, said the investment in the property at Orange Grove would not affect the NHT's ability to provide housing for Jamaicans. She pointed out that this year the NHT is disbursing over $22.4 billion for construction and mortgages and is spending another $1.6 billion to support the financing of private housing developments.
As of March 31, 2010, the assets was $134.1 billion. At the end of September 2014, that asset was $214.4 billion. $183 billion of that is in mortgage to NHT contributors. This, Mr. Speaker, is NHT at work.
In related news, work to increase housing solutions in the country through the government's urban renewal program and the infill housing program is gathering momentum. Minister with responsibility for housing, Dr. Maurice Guy, says a technical assistance grant in support of the efforts has been conditionally approved by the Caribbean Development Bank. This, he says, will help to improve and generate low-income housing solutions and provide security of tenure.
Once funding is in place, the first phase of a technical agreement between the ministry and the CDB will be implemented at a cost of some $146,000 to be offset between the CDB and the government of Jamaica. Phase 1 will also see the engagement of a consultant to, among other things, undertake a feasibility study of urban and community renewal initiatives in downtown Kingston.
He says the ministry has already begun a land identification process in the Kingston Urban Centre area to further facilitate urban renewal plans. Dr. Guy was speaking recently at the handing over of a new building at the Portmore Community College. Meanwhile, the Housing Agency of Jamaica has stepped up measures to improve the service it provides. The agency has unveiled a new mission and vision as part of a wider initiative to improve customer service and output. Managing Director Carl Bennett says the company is creating a new corporate culture that's designed to reinvigorate staff to help achieve the mandate of being the premier provider of housing solutions.
And therefore, we need to wrap our minds around what it is that we do, who are the people who we serve, and how best we can satisfy the needs of those customers.
Mr. Bennett was speaking recently at a special commemoration ceremony held at the agency's head offices on Caledonia Avenue. Jamaica's permanent representative to the United Nations has been appointed as chair of the UN Intergovernmental Negotiations on Security Council reform. Ambassador Courtney Ratch's appointment was announced on Monday by the president of the 69th session of the UN General Assembly. The Foreign Affairs Ministry says Ambassador Ratch's appointment will give greater prominence to Jamaica's role and contribution at the United Nations. Reform of the 15-member Security Council has been high on the agenda of the wider UN membership for over 20 years, and Jamaica has been actively engaged in those efforts. The reform agenda includes proposals to modify the size of the Security Council's permanent membership and address more widely the categories of membership, as well as the question of the veto power accorded to permanent members. The UN Security Council has only been reformed once since 1945, when it expanded the number of non-permanent members from 6 to 10. And finally, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites has lauded the nation's teachers for their continued sterling contribution to the education system. He was speaking at the recent 2014 LASCA and Ministry of Education Teacher and Principal of the Year Award ceremony. Hampton High Principal Heather Dawn Murray and Marymount High teacher Anita Bailey walked away with the top prizes.
We meet to honor those teachers who have shown enthusiasm, discipline, and flexibility in the exercise of their craft.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
The Ebola virus is transmitted through direct contact with an infected person's blood or other bodily fluids like saliva, urine, stool, and semen. Symptoms of Ebola include sudden fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. This may be followed by vomiting, diarrhea, and rash, and in some cases both internal and external bleeding, leading to death. Protect yourself. Avoid travel to Ebola-affected countries. Avoid contact with infected persons. Don't touch the body of someone who has died from Ebola. Wash hands frequently with soap and water and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. To know more, call 1-888-663-5683.
The government is building multi-purpose centers which will not only be used for recreational purposes but as centers for skills training and entrepreneurial activities. We now take a look at one such center, key to the development of the Knowledge community in St. Catherine.
When Jamaicans benefit from the social investment in our people, it drives our economic growth. When Jamaica's economy grows, we become the masters of our destiny.
The Knowledge community in Bogwalk, St. Catherine is one of those communities benefiting from government's investment in its people by way of a multi-purpose center.
As a government, we're working with you to give you the tools that will instill in you the confidence to succeed.
By building capacity in every Jamaican community, government is working to achieve strategic priority number 2, economic growth and job creation in the 2014-2015 fiscal year. And with the continued push for rural community development, the multi-purpose center ties perfectly into plans to create areas where people live, do business, and create lasting memories with their families. The Knowledge Multipurpose Center is a program of the Inner City Basic Services Project. It was financed by the government in partnership with the World Bank and administered by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF.
Our aim is to develop this multipurpose center into a functional social enterprise that is financially autonomous and sustainable. Hence, this infrastructure was complemented by the formation of a management committee to manage the center. Capacity building and organizational strengthening intervention, including business plan writing and business development training. Social programs which will be pursued in this center will no doubt assist in improving the community's access to benefits such as educational activities, recreation, skills development, and training.
The $133.6 million investment is now serving 1,200 persons from 220 households in Nullis and neighboring communities. At 500 square meters, the center consists of a main hall, commercial workshop spaces, computer room and a kitchen, as well as male and female bathrooms. On the outside, JCIF installed a biodigester sewage system and a parking space, as well as improved roads and drains.
We want to ensure that we create cottage industries that can allow for all of you, young people, to be able to get some employment creation, some income generation in these communities. Projects that will allow you to not only learn a skill, but to be able to earn something from that skill which you will learn.
It will develop a lasting legacy for the people if you put this center to proper use.
JCIF grew a very wonderful building, as you can see there. And we have a lot of plans for it in terms of sport, and we can promise you we are going to keep it nice.
Having put up $5.28 million towards the completion of the multipurpose center, the Nullis Benevolent Society members are already putting the space to good use. In the first phase, 40 citizens, including unattached youth, have benefited from wealth creation and skills training initiatives.
Cushion making has taught me how to do stuff by myself, because right now I can basically just pick up a piece of material and just make a cushion.
Going after college, the semester coming, I'm positive that I'm ready based on what I've learned throughout being a part of this.
It has impacted my life greatly and empowered me to be a better citizen of my community and Extension Jamaica.
And there are plans for further training.
We are trying to get in heart to do some training, and we also have a kitchen around here, so we'll be doing our own like culinary arts. We can sell some of those stuff. They were also trained in cushion and sheet making and fabrication, so we'll try to continue those processes, and those are income generating projects.
The Nullis Community Benevolent Society is determined to make its newly built community center a model for other communities to emulate.
With the team, we will make sure that this building is utilized for the purpose and intent that it is here for. We want the community of Nullis to be an example. There are 12 communities that have benefited from this program. We want to be the #1. And as a matter of fact, not only want to be, we will be the #1.
Vision 2030 is one of the tools the government is using to create a productive society and ensure economic growth. The plan speaks to making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. In the next feature, we learn how Vision 2030 is being implemented, monitored, and evaluated.
On a map, it's but a tiny dot, but in reality, its total area of about 10,990 square kilometers surrounded by the Caribbean Sea is spectacularly stunning. This is a small feature of the island Jamaica, which boasts of many achievements at home and abroad since gaining independence in 1962. However, as a people, when we take stock of our progress, we also see a country that has not achieved its full potential. Vision 2030 Jamaica has been formulated to assist in remedying this situation. This long-term national development plan aims to put the country in a position to achieve developed country status by 2030. By the projected timeline, Jamaica will be the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. The plan is guided by 4 national goals which are interdependent. Goal 1, Jamaicans are empowered to achieve their fullest potential. Goal 2, the Jamaican society is secure, cohesive, and just. Goal 3, Jamaica's economy is prosperous. And Goal 4, Jamaica has a healthy natural environment. However, if the plan is to succeed, there must be a carefully developed implementation, monitoring, and evaluation framework.
Vision 2030 Jamaica is implemented through alignment with the plans and budgets of ministries, departments of and agencies of government in the first place, and also through alignment with the projects, relevant projects in the private sector, civil society, and very importantly, the country programs of our international development partners are highly aligned with Vision 2030 Jamaica.
Implementation of the National Development Plan is done in a systematic way through the use of the Medium-Term Socio-Economic Policy Frameworks (MTFs). Under the MTF, critical priority areas for implementation are identified through a process of consultation with key stakeholders across the society. This is done every 3 years from 2009 to 2030. 29 sector plans which were formulated as part of Vision 2030 Jamaica for areas deemed critical for Jamaica's development also form part of the framework for implementation by influencing the priority areas for the various MTFs. A robust results-based monitoring and evaluation system is being established to ensure that the goals and outcomes of the plan are achieved. This system builds on existing national and sectoral frameworks. An important aspect of the implementation, monitoring, and evaluation structure is ensuring that an inventory of the plan is done on a yearly basis and its progress tracked using a range of performance indicators and targets, also known as the Dashboard of National Indicators.
We, in fact, maintain a comprehensive database of these indicators called the JAMSTATS database here in the PIOJ using the software provided by the United Nations. And here's where we have the time series on all of these indicators going back for many years, along with the targets. And this is where we store the data and use this to report on progress periodically.
Also, since 2009, 10 thematic working groups, TWGs, made up of representatives from the public and private sectors and the civil society, have been established to provide a forum for the discussion, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of priorities and activities of Vision 2030 Jamaica at the sectoral level.
They identify problems and try to come up with solutions to ensure that they are overcome. They may help to develop key policies, prepare reports, undertake consultations, and in general do whatever it takes to support the implementation of the plan on a timely basis.
Cabinet, however, has ultimate responsibility for the implementation and coordination of the National Development Plan, while the PIOJ acts as a technical secretariat. In this regard, the PIOJ systematically analyzes and interprets social and economic data and monitors and appraises public and private sector programs and activities based on the goals and outcomes of Vision 2030 Jamaica. The first phase of implementation of Vision 2030 Jamaica 2009 to 2012 is now complete. A report on the progress is being prepared.
I think we have a mixed scorecard of progress so far. We've seen progress in such areas as a very significant fall, for example, in the murder rate, and I think people may well be aware of that. We've exceeded the target that we had set for 2012 already. We have also done quite well in some areas of our education and the certification of our labor force, and also in increasing the percentage of renewable energy sources for the country, where we have done very well there.
However, the country is experiencing lower growth rates than expected, and unemployment and poverty are still pervasive.
We are now focusing through the medium-term economic program and the growth inducement strategy on ensuring that we get back on track in those areas in the next 3 years.
The implementation of the plan does not stop with the private and public sectors. You too can help make Vision 2030 Jamaica a reality. How? By learning about the plan, then sharing and applying the information learned. By committing to being a good role model, taking care of the environment, becoming more involved in community affairs as well as the affairs of the nation, you will help advance the implementation of the plan. For more information, visit the Vision 2030 Jamaica website, vision2030.gov.jm, or call the PIOJ 935-5150 or 935-514-629.
So, today is the day, and all you can concentrate on are the butterflies in your stomach caused by anxiety. You keep thinking ahead of your 10 a.m. appointment for the job interview, wondering about the possible questions and all the things that could go wrong. Of course, you're equally anxious to have it over and done with. The anxiety you feel prior to the interview can be conveyed through your body language during the interview, simply because when we are in stressful situations, our bodies react accordingly. So, what are the habits that you need to develop to ensure that you use positive body language during an interview? The first thing that the interviewers see when you enter the room is your face, and we both know about the varied expressions that can be conveyed through facial expressions. For your interview, carry a warm, natural smile. Maintain eye contact. Avoid staring, pursed lips, frowning, and looking sideways. Nod slowly. Wait for the interviewer to initiate the handshake, which should be firm. Use only one hand and put your hand all the way into the interviewer's hand with the palm up. Wait until the interviewer indicates where you should sit. If you feel uncomfortable standing, you can query, "Where would you like me to sit?" Make sure that you maintain the personal space between you and the interviewer. Sit to the back of the chair with your back straight. Lean slightly forward to show your interest in the conversation. Women should avoid crossing their legs. Instead, cross your ankles and tuck them to the side. Men should avoid sitting with their legs wide apart or with their ankle over the knee. Now, I hope you don't feel so anxious about your next interview. But if you need additional tips and coaching, visit www.careerjamaica.com.
Their buzzing sound can be annoying, and their sting is downright painful. But their sweet nectar is in high demand. For that reason, young men and women from Jamaica's oldest capital toughen their skins and brave their hives. We are in Job's Lane and Walks Road of Spanish Town, St. Catherine. One is an inner city residential area and the other a farming community. A few minutes drive apart, they bear similarities. Of note is the unemployment that pervades the communities. But that negative characteristic may soon change. There is a sweet development slowly taking place. About 24 young men and women, some unemployed and a few underemployed, are busily nurturing bees daily to produce honey. The youths are participants of a beekeeping project being operated in the communities by the government and two not-for-profit organizations, the Local Initiative Facility for the Environment, LIFE, and the United States Agency for International Development, USAID.
This project can hopefully fail from poverty to better life.
Currently, I am not working, so hopefully this can be a business venture for me.
As the government encourages more persons to get involved in small and micro enterprises, one man is living that charge. A successful beekeeper for more than 20 years, he rode to life, seeking help to set up an apiary in Spanish Town. He wanted life to help him to train as many youths as possible to become beekeepers, and as such decrease the level of poverty.
I've been living in Spanish Town for a number of years, and we know all the negatives that are associated with Spanish Town. I think that if I can rescue one youth, then it would be worth it.
Life listened and sought funding from USAID.
And one of the things that this project focuses on is micro-enterprise development. And each beekeeper is a business person because they are producing honey or wax or pollen that is sold and that they can get earnings from.
USAID, which is celebrating 50 years of operation in Jamaica, didn't hesitate to sponsor the project. Beekeeping is an activity the agency sponsors in several countries.
What we're trying to do through this project is provide economic opportunities for youth who are in communities at risk. The local initiative Facility for the Environment received a grant from us for over $700,000.
Since August 2011, when the project started, the future beekeepers have undergone intensive training. All aspects of beekeeping have been covered. Making an apiary, selection of a site for an apiary, the biology of bees, the types of bees, the marketing of honey, and small business management.
But the substantive part of the course was spent on managing the hives, because that is what it boils down to. I mean, you can know all the other things, but if you can't manage your hive or understand how to manage a hive, then you won't be successful.
And the participants are indeed learning about the beekeeping process.
Seal brood. These are when the young bees inside and them seal it, prepare for come out as young bees. And these right here are unsealed brood. Just a leave from the egg stage, open brood.
The participants now look forward to the sweet rewards. And if all goes as planned, by as early as January 2013, they will be harvesting honey.
We also expect that they will be reaping honey next year because they are expanding their apiary this year, and that they will have the capacity to earn a minimum of $160,000.
20 or 5 years down the line, I should be able to say, well, I bought this from doing beekeeping, and it just started from just getting training.
I have 2 kids and juggling, running a little small grocery shop, and that kind of put food on the table for now. So we'll try to do something else for, bring forth more income so we can take care of the youth them more.
Young men and women being trained to be entrepreneurs and elevate themselves from the negatives of their surroundings.
We have come to the end of another episode of Jamaica Magazine, but this is not the only place you can find us. Please continue to stay in touch through our Facebook and Twitter pages, website and YouTube channel. I'm Adrian Atkinson. On behalf of the hardworking production team here at the JIS, remember that just as we develop our physical muscles through overcoming opposition, such as lifting weights, we develop our character muscles by overcoming challenges and adversity. So says Stephen Covey.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.